Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for December 4, 2023. And in the news this afternoon, mother found guilty of child neglect following fire which claimed the lives of her two sons. The St. James woman who was charged in connection with the death of her two sons in a fire which destroyed their house in Paradise, Norwood on November 1, 2019, has been sentenced to 6 months in prison after being found guilty of child neglect. Chantel Brown, 32, was sentenced by High Court Judge Judith Pusey in the St. James Parish Court last Friday. Javanchi Lauderdale Palmer, then 8, and Tyler McLeod, who was 1 at the time, perished in the fire while their two sisters, Corianne Palmer, then 6, and Tyler's twin sister, Taylor McLeod, sustained injuries. The police reported that shortly after 11 p.m., cops were on patrol in the community when they saw Brown and a group of persons drinking and gallivanting along the road. The police instructed them to go home and drove away, but about 30 minutes later, when the police drove back to the location, Brown and her friends had returned to the streets and were again seen drinking and carrying on. Minutes later, a woman ran to the location and raised an alarm that Brown's house on Ban Lane was on fire. Firefighters battled the blaze as the one-bedroom board dwelling house was engulfed in flames. When the fire was extinguished, it was discovered that Brown had left all 4 children inside the house, which had caught fire. Corianne barely managed to escape from the blazing house while dragging Taylor. After carrying out cooling-down operations, the firemen discovered the charred remains of Javanchi Palmer on a bed, as well as those of his younger brother, Tyler McLeod, underneath the bed. In his mitigation plea, Brown's lawyer, Albert Morgan, stated that she has accepted responsibility and that she was wrong. Given all the circumstances, she will be constantly mourning the loss of her children. She seems to have a problem with substance abuse and requires intervention, Morgan said as he pleaded with the judge to be lenient. Brown claimed in her defense that she did not attend a party, but instead went to a shop and asked a family member to keep an eye on the children. The social inquiry report revealed that she cares for her children, but that it was customary for her to go to parties and spend a lot of time on the road. The community regards her as an excessive drinker who loves partying. All 4 could have perished. A non-custodial sentence is inappropriate because the incident was unavoidable, Judge Pusey said. The judge, however, stated that she considers all of the emotional damage that the remaining 2 children have endured and that she does not intend to further traumatize them as a result of their mother's separation. She also took into consideration her guilty plea and the fact that she was detained for 6 months while awaiting trial. The judge then sentenced Brown to 6 months imprisonment and recommended that she undergo drug treatment while in custody. PNP's Hugh Graham absent from more than 60% of House sittings since the start of this year. The Member of Parliament for St. Catherine North Western, the People's National Party's Hugh Graham, is on thin ice after missing more than 60% of the sittings of the House of Representatives since the start of this year. Fellow opposition MP Dr. Peter Phillips, the former opposition leader who represents St. Andrew East Central, has missed approximately 80% of the sittings of the House so far this year, but in his case, the Parliament is aware that he is dealing with a medical issue which provides a valid excuse. Jamaica Labour Party representative, the MP for Clarendon Central, Lester Mike Henry, has missed 57% of the sittings from the start of the year, but he also has medical reasons for his absences. There is no such medical issue on the record at Gordon House for Graham, who could face sanctions. According to official attendance records from Parliament seen by the news, Graham, the first-term MP, who has indicated that he will not be seeking re-election, was absent from 39 of the 61 sittings, 54%, between January 10 and November 8. Graham submitted apologies for his absence on just 2 occasions and was missing from 6 consecutive sittings, which could be grounds for him to be booted from Parliament before the scheduled end of his term in 2025. On the motion for adjournment during the sitting of the House last Wednesday, Speaker Juliet Holness reiterated her stance on imposing the rules surrounding the attendance of MPs. There is, in fact, one member who has been absent for 80% of the sittings of the House, approximately 80% with and without excuse, and having been written to outside of the required time for attendance, Holness said without naming the MP or the period she was referencing. If you have missed the 6 consecutive sittings within a period of 21 days, the standing orders require that you must give the Speaker a valid reason for your absence within 15 days. However, in the Speaker exercising leniency, a member who is absent for more than 70% of the time without giving any excuse to the Speaker makes it a challenge for the Speaker to be lenient, said Holness, as she declared that this was not a member from the government side of the benches. And that is why I am ensuring that I am extremely lenient. However, this stands now as a warning. Anyone who runs afoul of the standing orders in respect of attendance, whether it be from the opposition or government side, will be held firmly liable in keeping with the standing orders, and there will be no leniency accorded to that member, added Holness. That was the second time in recent weeks that the recently elected Speaker warned the MPs about the absence from sittings of the House. At the start of the sitting on November 8, Holness noted there are some individuals who, for whatever reason, are absent from the House for an extended time. Please be advised that we will be checking the records so that the individual or individuals having been absent from the Parliament over and above what is in keeping with our standing orders will appreciate. You will be read out of the Parliament, she said at the time. The news check of the attendance record of the House showed that between January and February, Graham was absent for 6 of the 10 sittings. It was a similar story for April and May, where he missed 11 of the 23 sittings while submitting apologies for only 2 of his absences. Graham was absent for all 4 sittings in April and missed the 7 of the 9 sittings in May, though not consecutively. In May, he showed up for the first sitting on the 2nd, then was absent for the next 2 before showing up for the 4th. He was absent for the rest of the month. The businessman turned MP was then missing for 7 of the 10 sittings between June and July and missed both the sittings of the House in September. Graham was also absent for all 7 sittings of the House in October with no apologies. He was missing for the first 3 sittings of the House in November up to the 8th, which is the last attendance record provided to the news. Phillips missed 49 of the 61 sittings, while Henry missed 35. The JLP's Carl Samuda was absent 18 times with 5 apologies, while his party colleague Odishaw missed 17 sittings, twice because he was on official business and twice because of illness. Prime Minister and the MP for St. Andrew West Central, Andrew Holness, missed 26 sittings with 5 apologies, while Leader of the Opposition Mark Golding was absent for 10 sittings with 4 apologies. MPs for St. Catharines South Eastern, Robert Miller, and St. Andrew North East, Delroy Chuck, had a perfect attendance records, while Manchester Southern MP Robert Chin was absent for only 1 sitting, and Westmoreland Eastern Daniel Lawrence missed 3. All 4 sit on the government benches in the House. Former Speaker of the House and a former MP for Trelawney Southern, Marissa Dalrymple Philibert, had an almost perfect attendance record, missing only 5 sittings, all with apologies, until she resigned on September 21, 2023, while Kingston Central MP Donovan Williams, who missed only 4 of the 61 sittings, has a 94% attendance record. Parliament's standing orders state that any member who is prevented from attending a meeting of the House should notify the Speaker in writing as early as possible of his or her inability to attend. It further states that if any member is absent from any one session of the House for more than 6 consecutive sittings without the written leave of the Speaker, and such absences occur during a period not exceeding 21 days, that a member vacates his or her seat in the House under Section 41 of the Jamaica Constitution Order in Council 1962.